Social networks just keep getting bigger. Photo sharing app Instagram now says it has 400 million monthly active users. What does this mean for its social network rivals? WSJ Deputy Tech Editor Brian Fitzgerald joins us now. Hi, Brian. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So 400 million, that is a pretty big number. It turns out this is a great investment for Facebook.
Yes, it's worked out well for them. When they acquired Instagram in 2012, they paid about $1 billion. You compare that to what they paid for another messaging app, WhatsApp, a few years later, and that was upwards of $20 billion. So I think that's turned out well.
And how's WhatsApp doing?
Very well.
Yeah.
They're closing in on 1 billion users. It's a different kind of messaging app, but they have explosive growth. But they're also used widely around the world in developing countries and whatnot. So there's a lot of area for growth.
Absolutely. And Instagram points out that its celebrity base is growing. Caitlyn Jenner, David Beckham are now have accounts. So I used to think of it as something that you would share your kid pictures with your friends, but it's gotten a lot bigger than that.
Right. Well, it has. And I think it got to start with it's a niche community, people who love photos, right? And so you have a lot of photos of what I'm having for dinner.
Right.
And then it got a period of growth as there were younger people trying to escape Facebook itself. And so they were looking for other places to go.
Well, you make such a good point, because I think a lot of young people aren't even aware that Instagram is owned by Facebook, and they might think it's a lot less cool if they knew that.
Right, don't say anything.
That's right.
No, but look, that's a good job on Facebook's part, if you really think about it. They haven't, they're not buying these messaging apps and then bigfooting around in them, changing the brand and the look. They let these businesses sort of run on their own. They give them the backing, the money,
very smart,
and the time.
Very smart. Now, what does all this mean for Twitter, for instance?
Well, that always happens. Every time a messaging app like Snapchat or even a service like LinkedIn hits another big round number, everyone kind of looks at Twitter and says, what's going on there? I don't think it means anything for Twitter. These are separate services for separate groups of people. The people who are using, it's not a zero-sum game. It's not like the Hunger Games. The people who are using Twitter aren't necessarily going to be the same people who would use Instagram. And if they would be, they'll just use both.
It's a wide world. There's room for social media for everyone. Now, I've noticed a lot more branded content or branded accounts on Instagram. Is Instagram tapping into that and getting some revenue?
Well, so this is always the question with Facebook and its many messaging apps is how it's going to make money. Facebook is an advertising company. That's how they should be thought of. And so, Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO, had said in the past, we don't really think about these services as businesses until they get to about 1 billion users, which is a heady statement, right?
Sure.
But Facebook is always thinking about how to monetize. And with Instagram, they're getting close. They're experimenting with new ad formats, and most recently with ways to get people who use Instagram to perform an action. So now if you're a brand, if you're Kraft, it's not enough to just put a picture of macaroni and cheese up there. It's to get people to do something. So perhaps to sign up for a mailing list or to perform an action of some kind.
Right. All right. It continues to grow. Brian Fitzgerald, thank you so much for all that.
Thanks for having me.